Good morning. Welcome to the Bond Sunday morning services. Thank you so much for being with me. I absolutely appreciate it. You can get involved with the topic of the day by calling 800-411-2663, 800-411-BOND, or email me church@bondinfo.org, church@bondinfo.org, and put your name in town, and I can respond today. And good morning to everybody here.
Good morning.
How y'all doing?
All right.
Y'all happy? We were talking about how to build friends and be friends. And Forrest, you asked a very good question just before we started taping, is do I have friends who are good friends that I disagree with politically 100%? And the answer is yes. And we get into heavy discussions about it and everything. But it's when you ask that, it was almost a strange question to me, because when I'm talking to my friends or dealing with my friends, I don't think when I'm dealing with them, I'm not thinking that they are a liberal, because I see the spirit of where they're coming from, and for some reason I'm more concerned about that than them being a liberal or conservative or Republican. Now, when I'm dealing in a political discussion, I know I have to deal with political issues. But when you overcome your anger, you absolutely see life in a different way. You see life in for lack of better words, a spiritual way. You know, it's the blind who see life in a political way. And then it just becomes a political battle. And nothing gets done. But it's the soul of man that God cares about. He really doesn't care if we're political or conservative. That's a physical thing, and it's not going to do anything good for the soul, whether you're Republican or Democrat. And that's why God said we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against spirits and principalities and wickedness and evil in high places. Everything we do is a battle between good and evil. But the world defines it as liberal or conservative or black or white or male or female. And if you're not coming from within, you'll try to live that way. You'll live that way too and try to deal with life in that way. And you're not going to get anywhere dealing with life that way. And so, but if you saw it as it is, a spiritual battle, then without any effort on your part, you are affecting life in a good kind of way, in a good way. A good way. That's why God said we must walk by faith and not by sight. But if you don't enter into the kingdom within, you can't help but walk by sight and not faith. And that's why he said we should know ourselves. Because if you're not really seeking first the kingdom of God in his right way, you don't really know yourself. And there's so many little weird things you do to yourself to set yourself up, and you don't see it happening because you're not seeking first what is right. It has to be primary. Yes, John?
Don't the issues that a person believes in, don't that define the person?
Yeah, it does. Whatever you believes in you, and it controls you.
But I'm talking about politically. It's
Yeah.
a liberal might believe in certain issues, so those issues would define that person, right?
Yeah, meaning that they get their identity from that. Or are you saying if it's a liberal, then I'm going to automatically think, well, this is a liberal who don't believe in God, who, on the wrong side. You mean like that? What do you mean define themselves?
When you're dealing with that person, don't those things come into your mind? Well, let's say like you're trying to be a friend.
Oh, I see.
Those issues that they believe in, somehow they would come into your mind and you would cause you to like separate from that person.
Oh, I see what you're saying. No. Now, yes, you're tempted to know that this is a liberal, but it's just a temptation. It's a thought. But if you're a person who lives from within, you're not subject to thoughts anymore. You can see in a different light, so you won't run away from that person because you see that where they're coming from. You're not seeing them in a political way.
But it is a mental disorder.
A mental disorder?
You can't talk to them. They don't see things the way you do, so it makes it frustrating.
But quiet as it is kept, a whole lot of truckload of Republicans, if you're going to define liberal, or liberal in spirit, now they may belong to the Republican Party, but when you talk to them, they don't have any sense either. No spiritual sense.
Yeah, like I have one friend that's he believes in the illegal aliens.
Can we close that door or something?
He believes in illegal aliens, and he's kind of protested out, I guess, in Los Angeles with the illegal alien crowd. I mean, I still see him as my
What's
friend.
it? You mean like they come from a spaceship? Or the
Or illegal
alien?
immigration.
Oh, I see.
And he did some protests out in Los Angeles. And sometimes I'm thinking, like, how can you believe in that? How can you? I mean, I still see him as my friend, but I never really got into a deep discussion about
Oh, I see.
believing this. But that does come in my mind sometimes. But I still see him as my friend.
That's such an interesting and powerful point. How many people understand what John is talking about? You think, how can you believe this? Yeah. Right? Yes.
Is your friend, is he black?
He's Mexican.
Oh, he's Mexican. Oh, okay.
And so you think, how can a person believe that, James?
I don't really think that. I just wonder how, like, all my friends believe so opposite of me.
Right. Speak up a little, I'm sorry.
I wonder how my friends think so opposite of me.
And what you come up with?
How they grew up, they were, like, most of them are Mexican or Asian, and they were either in the schools taught that way or their families, and
Yeah.
the pride in their race and all that.
Right. Susie, you think that way too?
Well, I see, like I have a sister that's really family oriented and, she's always there for the family and helping people, but she believes in abortion. And that's so hard for me to understand how she could,
Well, long story short, the reason you guys can't understand them is because you don't understand yourself. You don't know yourself. Because I know myself, and I'm constantly learning about self, and I remember when I thought the same way. And the reason I thought that way because I couldn't see. I was an angry person, I was deceived, and I couldn't see. So when my friends are like that, when they think a certain way, or my enemies, I understand that they just can't, I don't have to think about, because a lot of time on my radio show, I'm like, why do you think that way? Right away, I know why they think that way. Because they can't see.
yeah.
And so if you knew yourself, you understand that about your friends. And so when you're dealing with your friends, you will have some honesty but compassion for your friends, a desire that they may see. And that's a big mistake that the Christians and the Republicans are making, not all, of course. When they're doing the rallies and the protests, they're out there just pouncing and carrying on, and they don't have that heart that would bring truth into a great opportunity to help somebody. Because if you can get people to see themselves and wake up, then you got a friend to life. They're going to come on the side of good. I came on the side of good because my heart changed. When he opened my eyes and allowed me to see, then I realized all the things that I was thinking were wrong, but I also realized I couldn't see that they were wrong. And so if you can know yourself, you automatically know what you're dealing with, and then you can deal with people in a better light. But holy people like to think, how can you be that crazy? I don't understand what's going on. But you got to get to know yourself. You can't play holiness. You have to be it. Yes, Susan?
I was going to wait until you said, who remembers the assignment from last week?
Oh.
Because I wasn't here, but I asked somebody what it was, and I had something to share when you do get to that point.
Okay, well.
But it's kind
what?
of related to what you're talking about.
Oh, okay. Well, hold on.
Okay.
Hold on until the Lord comes. Yes, ma'am.
Wonder if you can see why they like that, but it still irritates you.
It's going to only be irritated to the evil one. People who are irritated are evil people. They have no love. That makes sense? I can't hear you.
Yes.
Yeah.
So it's
That's-
our ego and we're judging is what you
Yes.
Our ego is.
You can know that you're evil when you have no patience for your fellow man. Really, because if you have perfect love, you have patience even for your enemy. And most people don't have it. Yes.
My daughter was saying that I'm not really enthusiastic when she has a boyfriend or when they have new boyfriends.
A little loud for me right now.
And I was just saying, you know, when I look, I've been married a long time, so I know what it takes to live with someone and be willing to, you know, try to make that work. And I don't know if I'm a little jaded, but I know when I look at it, I see that it really takes, if you're not really both of you working towards a spiritual type of relationship,
Right.
you're going to struggle with it. And I see them making all the same mistakes in terms of not really getting to know that person before they, you know, get into a long-term relationship. And so I know what they have to look forward to because of that.
Right. You can see that they're going down the wrong path. You know what they're going to have to deal with, but you don't have a right to judge them.
No.
You know, and what they're sensing in that you're judging their boyfriends. And
But it's really not that. I don't know what they want me to do because I'm just kind of sit back because I don't want to judge at all. Really, I just don't.
so you
know
don't
person
judge the
enough.
the situation at all?
No, I don't really know the person enough to judge. I just really kind of know the weight because you can see a person and they can be the best, you know, everything, and I know that that person can change. You
But
know,
what are they picking up that they see that you don't seem to like their boyfriends?
it's not. I don't. It's not. It's like the one of them said that about the other boyfriend, and I don't really know. I don't really know. I just.
You should ask, what am
I'm
I?
not real, and I'm
You
not
should
real
ask, what am?
emotional.
Huh?
I'm not really emotional, and they want me to be more emotional about it, I guess.
Oh, like jumping up and down?
Mm-hmm.
Oh. But you know, you don't know for sure what they're saying because you didn't ask. You should ask, well, what is it that you want from me? What am I doing that caused you to think this? And then you can see what they're thinking and then have a dialogue about it.
I kind of did, but it wasn't concrete, you know, like I told him just what I said to you. I don't know that person, but I know as I've lived, I know people can be the opposite of what they seem. So I'm really just sitting back to kind of see, you know, what that person is. And so I don't have any emotion for it. But I think they kind of caught up as a young time. Sometimes young people, they're caught up in that being emotional about stuff. And,
Right.
you know, everything's, yeah, right, yeah. You know, and I'm just not.
Is it because you're too old to be emotional?
I'm supposed to get over my emotions, right?
I'm too old to jump around about these new boyfriends anymore.
No, I just know, you know, like I said, I see which path they're going.
Yeah. Yes, sir.
Maybe they're taking that, you know how she just said she sees what path they're going, and she said that she told them this exact same thing that she said a minute ago about she could see that what path they're going, and she told them that.
No,
Maybe
I
they
didn't
just
tell
take that as,
No, I didn't tell them that.
Because it's all right to tell them that, but just don't force or judge them about it. Because I tell, you know, my kids all the time, you know what, it's not going to work. You're on the wrong path. And if they say, oh, you know, it makes sense, and they change it, fine. If they don't, fine. You know, I just sit back there and let them go through hell.
Yeah, I'm kind of at that stage. I don't really tell them a lot right now because I've told them so much. You know,
Right.
so I just kind of let
That's a good stage to be in, too. You know, I've already told you, go suffer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They don't want to hear it anymore. It's
That's right. It can't happen that way, too.
I have a question.
Yes.
One day I saw you on a, I think.
Speak up just a little bit.
Good Morning L.A. or some show.
Right, good morning. Good Day L.A.
Good Day L.A. And there were two women that were just, they were just appalled, shaking their head. They couldn't believe what you were thinking and saying, but you kept totally calm.
Yeah.
What do you do in what goes on inside of you in a situation like that when they think you're nuts and they think that you're wrong in what you're saying?
That's a good question. When I was looking at them acting out, it was like looking at a movie. I felt like a kid. It felt almost funny.
Okay.
I realized it wasn't personal, and I was committed to speaking the truth in hope that it would help them or at least somebody else that was watching the program.
Mm-hmm.
And so because the ego is constantly dying, it doesn't take that reaction personally. It wasn't about me, it was about them.
Okay, yeah.
And so I didn't identify with it as though they were embarrassing me or doing something to me.
Even though they were talking directly at you.
Yeah, but they were representing themselves. They were not representing me. I was representing me.
That's true, yeah.
And so that's why I say when you let go of your anger and you live from within, the world around you won't affect you at all.
Okay, yeah.
It will not. You're separated from
That's
it.
how I want to be.
Yeah. And you can get that by letting go of all of your resentment. Just let it go. And then you're going to come into the kingdom and you'll be separated from the physical world, in it but not of it. And then you won't be moved by somebody else's attitude, whether they like you or don't like you. I like the people who like me about as much as I like those who don't like me. Because the ones that like me can change on you easier and quicker than the ones that don't like you.
That's true.
And so you have to have them both in the same basket. You know, and so...
So everything is sort of equal.
Yes.
You're just watching, like
There's-
I said last week, you have to be the eye of the hurricane still.
There's no judgment of either one. The one that pretend to be your friend, fine, that's nice. And the one that doesn't, fine, that's nice.
Okay.
You cannot judge once you let go of judgment.
So it still just comes down to that word, judgment.
Yes. Everything is about that.
Well, then it's really, it can be very simple.
It is quite simple. It's so simple that the ego won't let you receive it. It's very, very, it's so simple that as I'm speaking to you now, I can almost boo-hoo up here because people are missing the simplicity of it. It's just letting go of your ego and living your life. Because the moment you stop, once you overcome that evil, you're going to enter into another reality. And in that reality, there is no judgment of life.
It goes from the simplest judgment, too, whether it's your own shoes to the other guy's hair.
That's right.
It's anything.
Absolutely. Because we are not God. And people who have an ego think that they are God. That's why and they don't even know that they're thinking that they're God. They're not walking around thinking, well, I'm God.
Or
But
you
they're
think
judging.
You know everything. Why aren't you listening to me?
Well, what it is, they're judging everything in life that they do.
Yeah.
Everybody and everything. And that's playing God. And when you play God, you shall never know him. Because there's only one God and we're not him.
Interesting.
Isn't that something?
It's very simple.
Yeah. But the hardest thing is for people to let go of the ego. Because it's only because they don't realize that that's truly what it is. I was at another party last night, by the way. I'm partying it up. My cousin got married. One of my cousins got married last night. And I'm sitting there with a younger cousin. And he was asking me a lot of questions like you're doing now. And I think he asked me, could a person be perfect? And I said, yeah, we can be perfect. He's like, no, you can't. I'm like, yes, you can. I said, do you believe in God? He's like, yeah, I believe in, he's 25. He said, yes, I believe in God. I said, well, do you believe God is perfect? Yes, he is. And I said, so why would you believe in someone that is perfect, but they're going to prevent you from being that way? You're coming from an imperfect God to a perfect one. Why don't you believe that you could be that? He said, well, I've been always told that you can't be perfect. And I said to him, well, that's what the problem is. You've been lied to. You've been told that you can't be it. He think that one day when he die, he's going to be it, right? I said, you could be it now. I said, me dealing with you right now is making me perfect.
So that statement that you hear all your life, nobody's perfect, is a bunch of crap.
It's a lie. Yes, ma'am. It's coming from people who have not found God. And I said to him, in the Bible, it says, be ye perfect as your Father in heaven is perfect. He's like, that's in the Bible? Yeah, it is. He said, I've never seen it. And I said that, well, you need to find it because if God asked us to be it, apparently we can be it. Now, how we get there is what people don't know. But we could be it. If he said we could be it, we could be that. And so it seemed to be an interesting lesson for him. But I hear that all the time, that we can't be perfect. No man is perfect. I don't know anybody who is perfect. I don't care if I never see a person who is not perfect, or if I see one who is perfect. It's not going to convince me. If God say I could be that, then I'm going to be it. Because I'm not going to not be it because most people are not.
Well, you can be quiet about it and just be.
Yeah, just live. But he think that because he hasn't seen anyone like that. But where it come from, though, he hasn't seen his parents that way. Because had he seen his parents being that way, he would grow up with the same mindset, too. Even though he'd have to repent, he would know that he could get better. He would know that life could be made perfect. But that's the mindset. As John said, what you believe in is what controls you.
Yeah.
So if you don't believe it's possible, you're going to live a life living as though it's not possible.
It's true.
Isn't that something?
Yeah.
So is it kind of the ego defining what perfection is? I think the ego.
It does. The ego is such of the devil, it will even define perfection for you.
Yeah,
And it's nothing like what people think being perfect is.
exactly.
That's the problem too. Very good point. It's so sad what the devil has done to mankind. And the Bible talks about him being a deceiver. He deceives you and you destroy yourself. It's just amazing what he has done, the way he made even Christians think. I mean, common sense says, if I'm suffering because I'm serving my father, the devil, and I'm angry, I'm insecure, I have doubt, worry, I can't get along with anyone, my kids are messed up, my relationships are not working, and then someone said, well, here's another God you can serve, and your life would be made perfect or better. And so I said, oh, okay, let me try this God. And then I try this new God, and my life is still the same, and now I have to pretend like it's that way or can't. Why not just stay in the hell you were in? Why even bother with this other God that's going to treat you the same way? People won't even think about that part of it. But the ego will make you pretend like, well, one day, someday, we all can't be perfect and all that kind of stuff.
Do you have to have a little ego, though, to advance yourself in life?
No.
No.
Another good question. If you want, as a matter of fact, this cousin of mine that I was talking to last night, he just graduated from college as a journalist. And so I said, oh, really? So what are you doing now? He's like, nothing. I don't know what I want to do in life. He got all this debt, went to college, and he said he's working for his uncle doing something. But he still doesn't know what he wants because his ambition, which was passed on by his father to him, had kept him away from finding what he's really looking for. An ambitious person like that would never find God. So he doesn't know what he wants to do. So no, you don't need that. You need to seek what's right. And your goal, your talent in life will find you.
So these people that get out of universities that have professions like the one that I'm dealing with, which I deal with dentists,
Right.
they have very big egos. And in
Yes.
dental school, they are taught to treat their staff horrible.
Yes.
And how to think highly of yourself, higher than the people that you
Yes.
employ, so that they can be submissive and you can feel like the king.
Yes.
And
It's all ego building.
it's all ego.
Yes.
Yeah.
And quiet as it kept, college did that to you too. It added to your ego that was already there. That's why you judge the dentist and you can see how evil they are.
Yeah.
But it won't let you see how you've gone through the same thing too, and you're the same way.
Yeah.
I am absolutely convinced that college is a setup.
Yeah.
It's about money, and it builds your ego so it can get your money. And I noticed, because he and I were talking about going to, once you get to BA, you have to get something, a master's degree or something, higher, whatever. He's like, I said, so are you going to go back to school? He's like, I don't think so. I don't see no reason to go back. I don't know what to do with myself now, and I just finished college. Booker T. Washington believed in having a trade.
Yeah, and that's being diminished now.
Yes.
That's going.
And you know why? And I'm just now starting, because when you have a trade, you can work with your hand, you still preserve your heart.
Right.
It doesn't corrupt you as the education
You're a
system does.
hardworking man. You're an electrician, carpenter.
That's
plumber.
right. You feel good about that. You're working with your hand, you discover, you're learning. And I think that's why they got rid of trades and brought in college. Ain't that sad?
Yeah.
That's another thing evil has done to the people.
Well, Jesse, don't you think, not to cut you off, don't you think ambition is the guide? That's what college wants you to believe.
They play on your ambition.
Sure.
They play on your ego. They charge you up. They charge you an arm and a leg. It's dumb to pay all that money to go to college.
But they say
It's really dumb.
if they don't charge enough, they think that school must not be good enough.
If they don't charge you a lot. That's right. Because that's such a good point. You can go over to Los Angeles City College if you need some academic and get the same learning you would get if you went to wherever. You probably come out better.
Right.
But they won't let you know that because they don't make much money over there as they would if they make you go to another school. It's all ego. It destroys the soul. And I'm so sad about that. And that I'm sorry that mankind can't see what's happening. It's all spiritual. And then you come out of college and now you got to spend the rest of your life seeing a psychiatrist. So you're still spending money. It's amazing what's happening. But evil has done this to society, to mankind. We had common sense. I remember when trade schools were everywhere. They were everywhere.
Junior colleges were good,
Uh-huh.
really good.
But they got rid of the trade school and promoted this stuff.
Like at Santa Monica College, they got rid of the mechanics program,
Yeah,
and they brought in ballet, and they brought in art.
yeah,
What in the hell can you do with that?
that's right. Turn the boys into girls. That's about it. But we said all this, I hope, so that we can start waking up even more so and realize how we are being manipulated and controlled by the world. And men and women of God should not be controlled by the world. We set a different standard. We set the standard so that the blind can see.
Do you think there's ever going to be a reset button where all of this disappears?
I hope so. Yes, I believe it will be. Because even here, people are waking up here. You know, and those that are watching, they're watching because they recognize it as being,
No one's emailing you and calling you, though.
because they're watching. They will during the week. They don't normally do it during the thing.
They're scared.
Yeah, probably. But people are waking up. Those who recognize it, like, well, it makes sense. I'm running into it a lot. So have faith. Good will overcome evil. It really, really will. But you just got to look within yourself. We just don't have enough teachers teaching the truth, real teachers. You know, men and women who really know God. They have not found him, so it's not in their home, so you find more people going astray than you do, though. You know, I hear a lot of Christian parents, they're like proud. Oh, you're going to go to college as soon as you get out of high school. They got that from the world. They're not saying, oh, you get a trade. Or, or teaching their children how to take care of themselves while they're growing up. We have it inside of us to do. I didn't graduate from college. I came from a plantation. And I'm just fat and sassy and happy.
That's great.
What was that first one again?
Well, the trades have changed. The Mexicans have taken over the construction industry. My husband was in construction for 33 years.
Yeah.
And he got out of it because he couldn't take it anymore because of the shoddy work that was being done.
Yeah.
And he said some of the best plasterers that ever existed were the black guys that he had working for him.
I remember
that
those
now
days.
have lost their jobs
Yeah.
because of the Mexicans coming here.
And not only have they lost their job, they've lost their talent too.
Yeah.
They don't know how to do that as well now.
Stucco, and
Yeah.
plastering, and you know
When
what?
I was growing up, we knew how to build anything. Really did, just knew how to do it. But they have lost all that.
Yeah.
This cousin, once again, was telling me that, I forgot what school he went to. He said that blacks was 3% of the population of that school, and 90% of them were black women. The men just nowhere to be found. They lost their way. They lost their talent. They lost that natural ability. That's why you don't see them building in their own communities, businesses and things like that, because that talent is not developed. You have to do it
Right.
in order to get better and better at it, and it just makes you feel like a person. because it's the real you.
Yeah.
It's the real you. I think I saw Kelly. Did I see your hand?
A couple, I don't,
It's been so long ago, huh?
yeah, well, it was a couple different things. He started talking about different stuff.
No, go ahead though.
Well, one thing that stuck with me, I think, I don't know if I heard you right, but you were saying when you were on Good Day L.A. that Rona asked you what you were feeling or thinking when you saw those women who were like really mad at you or something.
Right.
And you said something about your ego dying all the time.
Right.
Was it your ego?
No, what I told her, because I understand the spiritual thing that's going on, in that moment, when I saw those women laughing and acting out, I didn't take it personally because my ego is not involved with what's happening out there. I'm being made perfect in that situation. So it was like looking at a movie.
Does
It was comical.
Does being made perfect mean that your ego is dying?
Yes. If you deal with imperfect people in a perfect manner, then you're being made perfect because you're giving love to them. You're not hating them. You're not judging them. You're being honest.
Yeah.
Go
And
ahead.
the other thing I was going to say,
I do like your hair. You do look better that way.
thank you.
I had to get used to my eyes just adjust to it.
What Rhonda was saying about perfection.
Yes.
And I was thinking the same thing, like, pretty sure that 99.9% of people have no idea what perfection is.
Right.
Because they think they do, because everyone every day, the ego wants, is saying like, oh, like I want everyone to think I'm perfect.
Yeah.
And like playing on how to accomplish that.
Yeah.
And I think that perfection is totally not what people think it is. Like it's being able to be yourself, like who you want to be, and sort of like enjoy yourself.
Yes.
I don't know if I'm saying that right, but it's just easy.
When you could be around your fellow man or woman and not judge them at all, you're being perfected. Not hate them, not judge them, you're being perfected. That's what perfection is. And in that, your talent and everything you touch will work.
Isn't it sort of like being able to be yourself regardless of like the situation?
The situation will have nothing to do with you being yourself. You're right.
So you
It
can
has
be like
nothing
who
to
you
do with
want to be.
Yes. And it has nothing to do with the situation. Because you're living from within instead of from without. If you are an outward person, then the situation determines how your life,
Right.
what happened. But if you're living from within, it doesn't. Absolutely. And you're right, people don't know what it means at all. They think getting an A on a test is perfection. Or buying a house in the hills, or because they can't see, that's why.
Or it's something that, or it's something that's really hard to attain.
Right.
Like you have
That's a good point.
You have to like exert yourself a lot, or like set your mind to it, and
Yeah. It's all a setup. That's not what makes you perfect. All it does is stress you out and turn you into a nutcase.
Yeah.
It really does.
That's why I threw my degrees off the wall into the trash can.
Yeah. But I still wish you hadn't. I wish you had been able to see what you're seeing now.
I wanted them to see how that meant nothing, though.
I know, but it meant nothing to them, though. They went home and laughed at you.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah. So I would have recommended that you looked at your reaction to them, how you were judging them, what you thought about it. And so, because they gave you an opportunity to see yourself, so you could start overcoming. You don't need to throw you work for that. You don't need to throw it away. It doesn't prove anything to your enemy.
No, it doesn't.
Yeah. It's like being married and then one person thinks that the other would cheat on them, but they don't cheat. It doesn't matter how much you try to prove that you don't cheat.
They don't believe
They're still not going to believe it. They could follow you to work and back home and watch over you 24 hours a day. And then they'll say, well, you're thinking about that person. You can't prove to another person anything. You just have to do it. You just have to be.
You have to prove it.
Yeah. You have to be. Let me take Irma's and then I'll come back. Yes, sir.
Yeah, this is a statement and a question. What I noticed too with education is that people are just programmed now to go through college.
Yes.
With the hopes of finding a job when they get out. They're not taught to start a business or anything like that. Basically, you go to college,
To find a job.
get your master's, and then find a job.
Yeah.
No entrepreneurship, no, being your own boss. But my question is, do you
It's
see
funny
any
too
value-
because I told my cousin, he just graduated. I said, oh, had you called me, I could have hired you. I just hired an engineer. He like, they didn't tell me.
That's a good time. I mean, journalists, you can put that to use doing something.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
do you see any value to, a traditional college degree? If you had a kid and, they came to you, they're like 18, they're thinking of going to college or doing, and you give them some advice, would you steer them away from college or would you, what would you?
That's a good question. Do I see any valued? I think it has its place if it were done with the right spirit. Yeah. I'm not against academic learning, you know what I'm saying? But the way it's been taught, it destroys the soul. That's where the problem is. In the good old days when boys were boys and men were men, they had academic learning, but they were doing it with a different spirit, so it didn't destroy the people. I know people who have gone through law school, and because I was there with them going through it, they were literally torn down and rebuilt. The school went after them and just put as much pressure as possible on them until it tore them down. And then they rebuilt them in their image.
Well, that's the whole point of law. That's what they do in law school, right?
Yeah, they do it in every area now, it seems. Yeah, it used to be just law school, but it seemed to be an area. So academic has its place, but it should not take over our soul.
My question is, do they know?
Yes, John.
What would be the right path for a parent to take if they have young children at home to develop their natural talent?
That's I'm loving this today. Aren't you having fun, Patrick? Mm-hmm. This is not too extreme, right? No, I'm kidding. For parents to love what's right with all their heart, soul, and might, and be a living example. And when they can do that, God will show them how to see their kids' talent and guide them in the right way without pressure. But you have to be with him so he can allow you to see. Otherwise, you can't see it by learning it in a physical way, because the spirit behind what is happening is what drives us, So if you're coming from the wrong spirit, you're going to put the wrong kind of pressure on your kids and mess them up, destroy them. But that's the only way you can do it. Seek first the kingdom of God and his right way, and all will be added. He'll guide you in raising your children. We can't even raise our children on our own, not of ourselves. Look what parents have done to their children who tried to raise them without God. Even those who claim to know God, look what they have done. They don't know God. You can tell by the children that the parents don't know God. The kids are messed up. And good, don't let anyone tell you that good produces evil. It doesn't. Good produces good. So that's how you would know. Yes, Susan.
Oh, one thing I want to say real quick is that I think that I think the Tea Party is taking the emphasis off college education, putting it on common sense, like they like Joe the plumber, and I think that I heard some talk about some political person, whether she had a BA or not, and it didn't matter. It doesn't matter to the.
I think you make a good point, and this is to answer your question, will good take over again? I think what they are recognizing is simple people who appears to want to do right and love what's right. And maybe all of this stuff, because this country is totally messed up now. It's like it's at the bottom of the totem pole. And so I think what's happening, those who do love what's right are starting to wake up. And you can recognize that in them because they're like simple people. They're not you can see that they're not totally ego-driven, and they almost look like people that the elitists would not trust because they're not all high and mighty. They're just simple, regular people.
Right.
And so I am seeing that coming up a little bit in men and women. We look at them, they almost look dumb. You notice that?
I see it a lot. I see it a
But,
lot.
yeah, it's not, and that's a beautiful position to be in because that kind of person is wiser than the one with the PhD and the FAD and all that kind of stuff. And
They have no common sense
and-
with those degrees.
they don't. But the world don't know how to handle those kind of people.
Right.
It's weird.
They don't know how to, that's what I see, that's just driving like Karl Rove mad, and they don't know what's going on, they don't know what,
Because
they don't know how to,
it's like, what do you do with a person who don't appear to be smart? You can't put them down because they're not ego-driven anyway.
Sarah Palin.
You can't outsmart them because they see where you're coming from. They can tell when you're lying and when you're faking it. It's like, but that's that insight into the spiritual world. That's what that is. That's why the Bible says you must go dumb in order to be smart. If you want wisdom, you got to go dumb. You got to know that you don't know. Very good point, Susan. Very good point. I hadn't even thought of it that way. But that is what they see, and they don't know what to do with
That's
it.
what's happening to me, that's what I see happening, is just people with common sense are coming out of the woodwork now.
Yeah.
And people whose common sense, like me, who lost their common sense, my common sense is coming back, so.
Right. I have been called dumb and all kind of names, and to me it's funny because they're kind of right. I'm not that smart, but yet my life is working better than theirs. They're yelling at me. I'm not yelling at them. You know, they're taking it personal. I think it's a joke. And so it's okay when they call you that. You're on the right side then. So you got to go dumb. So I guess the rest of the week, you're going to act dumb, right? I'm dumb today. Yes.
Yes, I know about our hang up with education. I know it's a very interesting factor, especially when at work when they had these open job fairs and representatives from these colleges said they can tell you that they can get how you can get a college education through their campus. I noticed that they're actually trying to sell the idea that you have to spend not only a good deal of money, but a good deal of your life going to their campus. And there's no real guarantee you'll ever get a job. I've tried that a long time ago. I tried business college. I spent 2.5 years there, and then in the end. Then ultimately, it took me at least just as long to get a job, and it wasn't even the job I was trained for.
That is so true.
Yes.
When you wake up, when you enter the kingdom within, and because inside we have a teacher, and he doesn't charge us for training. You don't have to pay a registration fee. You don't have to buy a whole lot of materials and books and all that. It's free. And so you will save a whole lot of money from going to these different conferences and things like that people are, job fairs and all that people are promising. It's just all a money-making thing. And I know people with truckloads of books from different job fairs they've gone through, and they still don't have a job. Or if they get one, they're not happy with the job they have, but they spend truckloads of money. It's best and cheaper to go within and let God give you your job. Now, you work with what you have until you can find that. I'm not saying go hungry, but it's best to go within and find your natural talent, and then money would come with that. The focus would be on the talent and not the money. You would be educated without even realizing you're being educated. And it's easy and it costs less. And then you don't have to travel so far.
Yes.
You just go within.
One small point.
And you're there. Yes.
Small point. I found out that what I needed to learn, what skills I can go to either a bookstore or a library and find the proper books.
You can teach yourself.
Yes.
By reading a book.
Right.
And because we have a teacher within us. We really, really do. How you think Booker T. Washington, the man was born enslaved. And they told him he can't read. It was against the law, but God made a way for him. He learned to read. He just went from one step to another one. And even with his college, his focus was still on academic. It was on God and academics. Not academic, but a trade. Yeah, it has its academic, but it wasn't first. It was third. God, a trade, and academics. And the people did well. But you got to put first things first, and that is seeking God in his right way, and all shall be added. It is an amazing thing. Doug, what do you think about all this?
I don't know. I went the traditional, go straight to college and, get a degree right after high school. And, I'm really glad I did it because I think I did learn a lot, and I did learn a lot of practical, things. I think it's mainly because I studied engineering, but, I don't know.
Yes.
I think the most valuable part of my college experience, and I have a lot of negative things to say about it, but the most valuable part of it was being put in an arena with other worldly people and having to, negotiate through that and balance different activities, learn to manage time and just what other people are like in a worldly situation. I don't think you need that, but I think it was a valuable experience and I learned most from that.
Right.
Just everyday interactions and things like that.
That's good. That is valuable, believe me. I want to read something to you guys. Any more questions? Did I get to everybody? Yes.
But it don't have nothing to do with academics. I asked you a question a while back, but I guess you couldn't fully answer it.
What was that?
It was, me and my friend was having a discussion and so many people, we were talking about being saved and people, you haven't been saved and all this. But she told me if Jesus came and died on the cross, that we are all saved. So, and I had a question. That was my question.
Well, we're not all saved, but salvation is at hand for all that will receive it. All those who will receive it is right at hand. And so, but the problem is, a lot of people are missing that at hand salvation. That's already, it really is already done. But most people don't know how to receive what's already done. The false teaching and the ego will not let them see or receive what's already there for them. And that's the sad commentary about it. That's why I say your life can change right now at the blinking of an eye. Because it is already done. Everything has been put back in order, but the folks can't see it because they live in their imagination. They live in their ego. They still believe the lie. So in that case, the person is right, but she's wrong in that we're all saved. Christ came so we all can be saved, so we can receive salvation. But some folks are not going to do it because they've been kept down from day one from seeing truth.
They live in their mind.
They live in their ego, in their mind. Absolutely. Did that answer that?
Yeah.
Yeah. So it is right at hand for everybody. But that old stubborn nature inside of you will not let you receive it. It is unfortunate. So all I can say is just suffer until you die.
Not me.
Me either. If I know it's right at hand, I want to know where's that hand. How do I get into that hand? That's right. Well, how do you get into that hand? But it's just so sad that it's right there. It's with us.
So you just have to drop it all, quit judging, and smile.
Yes. Don't judge right or wrong. And that's what the assignment was this week, I believe. Right?
It was how you would react when people are judgmental towards you.
How did you do this week? What was the assignment for this week?
That was how you felt inside when people were judgmental towards you. how you reacted inside.
Right. Don't yell at them about what they're done to you or doing to you, but deal with yourself.
I start shaking
You did.
because I wanted to lash out several times.
Yeah.
I want to tell people how crazy they are and how stupid they are.
Right.
And how it's always right there. And I held back.
And as a result of holding back, what happened?
Heart palpitations and
Now, if you could continue to do that for a while longer, and don't hate it, don't judge it, and just see, wow, I didn't know I had all this in me. Because if you hold back and don't judge your fellow man, God will come and save you.
stop all that in there.
Yeah. He will totally take it away from you and give you his identity, which is your true identity. Then you can live life. But because people won't be quiet and know the truth, they don't experience what you experienced because they don't want that kind of pain.
Yeah, and I tried to, you have to also, on the outside, you have to show that it didn't affect you either. So you have to change your facial expression, and you just have to smile and say what you want to think. You're thinking what you want to say, but you're doing it with a smile.
Just relax. Absolutely. And then this battle you're fighting between you and God. And he will come in and fight your battle for you. But when you lash out at someone because they have brought the same consciousness and come up in you, then it's two devils fighting each other. God can't fight your battle. He said that to be still and know the truth. So when you can take that like that and just say what you need to say, be kind, be honest.
Eventually it'll simmer down.
It'll be gone.
I don't
You'll
need
fight.
Xanax to fight that.
No, you don't need Xanax. That is so, isn't that like a perfect example of how to do it?
Yes, sir.
So practice that. When that rage come up, it's just a spirit that's made a home inside of you, and it needs life by you acting out to the world around you so it can stay alive. But if you don't act out, you don't judge it, it will die. You rebuke it.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
She doesn't have to smile, right?
No, you don't have to smile.
No, you don't have to smile.
Right.
I kind of do because I have that face that looks like I want to kill you.
Yeah, you don't have to smile.
Yeah.
But if you want to smile so they don't see, that's fine. It's between you and God. Yeah. I totally understand it.
Could that be like acting fake?
No.
No?
That's what the enemy wants you to believe. He wants you to believe that you're not being yourself if you're not going off. But that going off is not you. That's not who you are. That's another good question. Because I hear people say that, well, I'm just being myself. I told you off because that's how it is. I'm being myself, but they're not being. They're of their father, the devil.
Where did that all come from? Just your upbringing?
Bad teaching. Bad example, bad teaching. Yes, ma'am. Isn't that something?
Yeah, it's poisonous.
It is. And this is why we got to restore fathers and mothers. We got to rebuild this family, especially with fathers, so they can come back and be this example. Be that Christ-like person. If it doesn't start in the home, you suffer. Yes, sir.
But you also hear the so-called expert saying that if you suppress that stuff, you'll get ulcers and, get all
But
kinds
you're
of
not. But you're not suppressing. You were watching it. She saw what she felt.
I'm watching.
She didn't deny it.
Yeah.
You're right. She didn't try to control. They do tell you that. They are lying to you too. Instead of paying them all that money, come to me. I only charge $100 an hour. But that's a good point. Yes, Susan. James, I want you to come and read something for me.
I got mad at somebody for judging me, and I pushed them.
What?
I pushed them, but I had so much anger, and luckily I had to drive somewhere. I had a job to go to. So while I was driving, I felt so much shame. All I saw was my anger. I didn't see them really. I just got a chance to see my anger, and I was just burning with shame. But I remembered hearing, don't run away from, stay in the moment and just experience it. And it went away. Eventually, it kind of dissipated, but I understood what I did to my daughter to drive her, because she's on the
Yes.
outside, what I was on the inside, and I was judgmental and resentful of her, and she, is real, she gets real angry, and I just saw what was going on. It was so wonderful.
That's what I love about that.
Yeah.
When you can be still and know the truth, you're going to see all of what you have done, and if you don't judge that, you'll get better.
Yeah, I was so happy. I was so happy to finally see it and see it. I knew I had that anger in me, but I didn't, never saw it so clearly. I just experienced it. So that's what happened. Then some.
That's a good testimony.
What?
That's a nice testimony.
Yeah.
I can't believe you pushed somebody. You seem too weak to push anyone.
No, I'm such a little wimpy.
It's those kind of folks, when you have a fight, you need a knife and a gun. Those that seem real weak, those are the ones that'll hurt you. So they'll sneak up on you and it's over. James, come and read something. How much time we have?
4.5 minutes.
Oh, okay. Yes, Christine.
Is it ever a good idea to tell somebody that you're judging them and that you can't, you're sorry, that, rather than just watching it yourself, that you're judging them?
It's best to watch it and overcome it, but if you have to, just don't make a habit of doing it. That should happen every blue moon. Because what happens is you set that person up to forgive you, and then you'll come back and do it again, and then now they hate you.
So you just deal with it
Yeah.
yourself?
It's best to know yourself, see yourself so you can overcome it. That's what a lot of parents do to children. They are mean to them, and then they say, I'm sorry, and the kids forgive them, and then they come right back and do it again. Now the kids hate them, and now they're on the wrong track. It's best to quietly get over it.
Right.
Yeah. Yes, ma'am, real fast.
Well, it's like what I was going through, and this person would say she's sorry,
Yeah,
and then she would do it again.
yeah.
Every so many weeks,
Yeah.
it would come back, and then I got to the point I didn't want to hear it.
Yes, that's right.
Now
So-
I understand why the kids are like that.
Yeah. Amen. Get over it. God will come and save you. James, come and read something. Are you like all nervous and everything?
Yeah.
And then we'll make you stand here and wait to read.
Yeah.
And I noticed the moment I said, James, I want you to read something.
I was wondering if it was showing.
If what?
If it was showing that I was
You-
starting to fidget more.
You went into your unconscious. No one else saw it. I just knew. Your face turned red. I want you to read James. I don't know why I need to read this today because we got into something else, but I'll have it read for you anyway, and it's just food for thought. Start with James 4:1-12.
Okay. Where do these wars and battles...
Read the title first.
Oh, disunity among Christians. Where do these wars and battles between yourselves first start? It is not precisely in the desires... Oh, is it not precisely in the desires fighting inside your own self?
You don't know how to read?
You want me to start over?
Yeah, you read like a black person. Oh, sorry, Rhonda.
Disunity among Christians.
Oh, Lord.
Where do these
More pressure, huh?
and battles between yourselves first start? Is it not precisely in the desires fighting inside your own selves? You want something and lack it, so you kill. You have an ambition that you cannot satisfy, so you fight to get your way by force. It is because you do not pray that you do not receive. When you pray and do not receive, it is because you prayed wrongly, wanting to indulge your passions. Adulterers, do you not realize that love for the world is hatred for God? Anyone who chooses the world for a friend is constituted an enemy of God. Can you not see the point of the saying in Scripture, the longing of the Spirit he sent to dwell in us is a jealous longing, but he has given us an even greater grace. As Scripture says, God opposes the proud, but he accords his favor to the humble. Give in to God then. Resist the devil and he will run away from you. The nearer you go to God, the nearer God will come to you. Clean your hands, you sinners, and clear your minds, you waverers. Appreciate your wretchedness and weep for it in misery. Your laughter must be turned to grief, your happiness to gloom. Humble yourselves before the Lord, and he will lift you up.
We have to finish this next Sunday. We out of time? All right. Thank you, folks. Thank you. Thank you.